Joining me now, Congressman Stephen Horsford, Democrat of Nevada and chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Congressman, Mr. Chairman, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll both be in Selma tomorrow. You as a U.S. Congressman and chair of the Black Caucus, myself as head of NAN, commemorating those that risked and lost their lives for voting rights on March 7, 1965 at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Nearly 3 generations later, voting rights in America, specifically access for people of color, remain under attack by conservative state legislatures, with lawmakers in at least 32 states having pre-filed or introduced 150 restrictive voting bills by the end of January. At least 27 election interference bills introduced in 10 states in that same time, according to the Brennan Center for Justice. You're in the U.S. Congress, chairing a Black caucus whose constituents has always been disproportionately affected by voter suppression attempts. How would you characterize the state of voting rights in 2023 ahead of tomorrow?
Critical, Reverend Al. Thank you for having me on. The Congressional Black Caucus is here on the ground with you. We will see you tomorrow. I'm here in Montgomery, Alabama, with many of my colleagues today. We were over in Selma earlier today, and we'll be back there tomorrow. But let me just be absolutely clear, as you stated, voting rights is among the top of the agenda for the Congressional Black Caucus, as it has been, because of the fundamental protections that it guarantees. But as your viewers rightfully understand and know, too many states have made it harder for people to vote. They put restrictions and suppression tactics in place, and that is why the Congressional Black Caucus is working hard to make sure that we protect that fundamental right. And this is the first time in 40 years that Republicans have not worked with Democrats in order to reauthorize some of those most fundamental protections.
Congressman, this week the pandemic era boost added the benefits under the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It came to an end. Every SNAP recipient now stands to see about $100 less per month for food. For some households, it'll be $250 or more at a time when food insecurity has risen notably in the United States and disproportionately in Black communities that are already 3 times more likely to experience hunger, according to federal data. It also comes as some leading House Republicans are using their majority to explore broader cuts to federal food assistance, and with that, of course, the federal budget. But what does the end of these expanded benefits mean for folks in your Las Vegas district?
Well, for children and families that rely on SNAP benefits in my district in Nevada and all across the country, it means food insecurity. It means literally not having the ability to have the basics that they need to take care of themselves and to have food on the table. For children, it means going to school hungry. It means them not having the quality of life that they desperately need. We hear from our constituents all the time how Democrats delivered for them. We put people over politics by passing these benefits, and now Republicans in Congress want to take those resources away or to cut them back. And that is yet another thing. I am issuing a letter along with the Congressional Hispanic and Asian Caucus, with the Black Caucus, speaking about the need to protect these benefits. And it's one of the things that we're here in Montgomery and Selma to showcase. Congresswoman Terry Sewell, who represents this district, has been hard hit just after the horrific hurricane that hit the city. They need help. That's what Congresswoman Sewell said, and that is what the Congressional Black Caucus will continue to fight for.
Congressman, as we await Donald Trump's speech closing out this year's Conservative Political Action Conference, and despite all the talk that CPAC no longer has the influence it once did on the GOP, and all the analysis suggesting that Trump's grip on the GOP has slipped as he runs for the presidency this third time, what do you take from the fact that he still has top billing at what is still one of the most prominent annual gatherings for conservatives?
Well, sadly, what it means is that the Republican Party is controlled by the MAGA wing, the extreme MAGA wing that is represented by the Marjorie Taylor Greenes and the Matt Gaetzes that continue to deny the results of the last election, that do not want to protect democracy, that have undermined our ability to protect people's fundamental right to vote. And now they want to literally cut things like Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits, hurt families who are on SNAP. Look, we know that the choices you started with, the contrast could not be more clear. It's not about the election in 2024, however, it's about what we are doing every single day right now to deliver for constituents in our districts across this country. That's what the Congressional Black Caucus is focused on. That's what our members are focused on. And that's what the American people want us to focus on.
Congressman, two developments in the fight over reproductive rights. The pharmacy chain Walgreens announcing that it will no longer supply abortion pills in nearly 24 states where Republican attorney generals have objected. This, along with a looming federal court decision in Texas deciding whether a key drug used in medication abortions will be halted after a lawsuit from anti-abortion groups and physicians. What can be done federally to maintain access to these abortion drugs before they're out of reach for millions of women?
We need to codify the protections of Roe through the House Democratic-supported Women's Freedom for Healthcare Act, something that Representative Chu and other members have led on, and I'm a co-sponsor for it. This would protect women's fundamental right to make their own healthcare decisions about their body, to make sure that those freedoms continue to be available. I am concerned with companies like Walmart taking away these products that women need in order to decide for themselves how to have a family, when to have a family. And in states like Nevada that protect a woman's right, we're literally taking away the resources that women need. And this does disproportionately affect Black women who need to have these freedoms and these protections codified in federal law.
Before we lose you, President Biden took heat from a policing reform situation from police reform advocates and a number of House Democrats, while he signaled that he will not veto but rather sign a House GOP resolution blocking changes to criminal punishments in the district's criminal code. The first time in more than 3 decades, the Congress is expected to overturn a D.C. local law. Where do you come down on that?
I believe in local control. I believe that D.C. residents and their government should be able to decide for themselves what they want to pass, and especially the District of Columbia that does not have the representation because they are not approved as a state, which is something that I also support. I hope that my colleagues in the Senate would hear the needs of the residents in D.C. as they take up these resolutions that were passed by House Republicans. But ultimately, I believe in local control and D.C. residents and their government making their own decisions.
Congressman, Chairman Stephen Horsford, thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow in Selma.